Hello and welcome to this special broadcast today. We've got a packed house, dominant India in Nagpur. And will there be a dominant India in South Africa? And our last participant, Amit Shah, also joins us. Let me quickly introduce Joydeep Mukherjee, leading Bengal to a victory in Indore almost. I mean, delighted Joydeep Mukherjee. Bengal on the verge of making the final in the Ranji Trophy. Atreo, again, fantastically happy man. Almost on the verge of seeing an Indian win in Nagpur thanks to a Rohit Sharma masterclass and a fabulous Aksar Patel Ravindra Jadeja partnership. I'll get to hear from Atreo from what is happening at the Jamtha. Devashish Sen, somebody who was there in Nagpur, predicted an Indian win. Amit Shah, who was all vocal for Shubman Gill's inclusion and had predicted a daddy 100 from Rohit Sharma. Did not happen, but he still got a 120. And Shubhan Chakravarti on his way to the opening ceremony for the Women's World T20 in South Africa. Atreo, to you first. Man at the ground. What a fabulous, fabulous day. India now have complete control. Thoughts?
Yes, they are in a position of strength from where they can call the shots. And the most heartening part or the most satisfying part of the whole thing is that they didn't have it easy. They had to work hard, they had to dig deep, and then only they got there. Even when Rohit Sharma got out, Australia had probably had a chance of restricting India's lead to around say 70 or 80. But this 8 wicket partnership probably has taken the game away from them. India lead by 150, and batting the third innings, Australia probably they have considered the mental race to the Indian spinners. So it will be a very, very difficult task for them.
Okay. Joydeep, coming to you, Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, what more can this man do for India? 5 for 60 odd not out. Look at the impact he's had on this game. Thoughts on Ravindra Jadeja?
Yeah, I think his bowling has always been there. In the last 2-3 years, his batting has come around in every version that he plays. And that's why he's become irreplaceable. I think he'll walk into any Indian team at any point in time, even if he misses out. If it's Aksar or Shabaz or whoever, they will have to wait. Because two reasons. One is that with the ball, about till 3 years back, he had one ball which would be away from the stumps, little sliders, some would come, some wouldn't. Now he's added another repertoire where he's got the top arm delivery as well also. So what he'll do is he'll come close to the stumps and bowl the slider. He'll go away and bowl the top arm. So he will really confuse you with the deliveries. Some will turn, some will not. Having both the deliveries, both the releases, and with all this, the accuracy, that's the main thing, is a mixed bag. On a wicket like this, where not every ball is turning, I rather as a batter play on a wicket where every ball is turning. But where some balls are turning, these little subtle changes he does with the angle and the releases, it's almost impossible for the batters to pick consistently.
Okay. Shubhan Chakravarti in South Africa, 1 hour to go for the opening ceremony for you to be at the ground.
Yep.
Must be very exciting. Start of a Women's World T20. The question is, men are doing it at home. Can the women do so? My straight question, there was so much talk. Smriti Mandhana, Harmanpreet Kaur. You wrote to us, you saw them practicing, Smriti at least, and Harman also due to play. Are they playing? What's happening? Shubhan Chakravarti, update from the Indian camp.
I think first of all, Boriada, we had predicted that Rohit Sharma is going to score a century, and he did exactly that. And what a comeback for that man! But coming to the Women's T20 World Cup, I mean, yes, Smriti Mandhana came to the nets today. She didn't bat full-fledgedly, but yes, she did take a few throwdowns, and there were so many unnecessary speculations going around that Smriti Mandhana is out of the World Cup. She has a fractured left middle finger, and it's all rubbish. It's all rubbish because I saw her bat today to take a few throwdowns, and if you have a fractured middle finger, you can't do that. Yes, whatever I have spoken to a few people, and they have said that yes, Harman's shoulder is a bit tricky because it's a tricky area. Shoulder is a very tricky area. Joydeep Da can explain it better because of so many muscles and tendons there. But yes, Harman was present at the training session today for the first time ever since that Tri-Series final. So a good sign. Maybe Harman might skip from the the match, might sit out from the match because it's just the start of the tournament, and India have been extremely dominant against Pakistan. It's not like the men's format. In women's format, India are 99% sure to win if they play at least to 80% to their potential. So I think that paves the way for Yastika Bhatia in that playing 11 if Harman misses out. But for Smriti, tomorrow's next session at the Newlands Cricket Ground, that is going to be very crucial. If Smriti comes out and says, "Okay, I'm good to go, I'll bat," then I think Smriti at this moment I'll say 75% she's playing. But tomorrow's next session will clear the things out. But yes, I mean I've spoken to Ireland players, I've spoken to New Zealand players. Each and every one is so excited for this World Cup. There are so many junior young bowlers, female bowlers who are bowling to them, and while speaking to them, you can see the excitement these ladies are building for the future. And Sunil Lush also said the same in the pre-match press conference yesterday, that it is a tournament that will motivate the next gen cricketers
Yeah.
in women's format.
Okay, Sunil is a budding star for South Africa. If you see the way she's led the team after Dene van Niekerk, and what happened with Niekerk was unfortunate, the 18-second incident. Amit Shah, before I go to Devashish Sen, not the daddy 100, but at least Rohit Sharma ने 120 जो रन बनाया. I mean, क्या innings था यार, fabulous innings. And फिर उसके बाद अक्षर और रविंद्र जाडेजा, तुम 450 बोल रहे थे, 450 तो शायद नहीं होगा, बट 350 अगर बन गया जो आत्रेय मांग रहा था, आत्रेय को उसका 350 तो मिल गया अमित शाह.
क्यों नहीं होगा? देखिए ना, जब छठा विकेट गिरा,
बोल रहा है क्यों नहीं होगा?
देखिए दोनों गुजराती विकेट पर हैं और जिस हिसाब से बैटिंग कर रहे हैं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ यहाँ पर देखिए, आप देखिए जितनी सावधानी से रोहित शर्मा बैटिंग कर रहे थे, हम रोहित को इतने आसानी से आराम से बल्लेबाजी करते देखते नहीं कि रोहित स्ट्रोक प्लेयर है, लेकिन जिस तरीके से इंडियन स्पिनर्स का बॉल घुमा है, टॉड मर्फी ने भी बॉल घुमाया है, ये बात हम देखेंगे, उनके भी बॉल घूम रहे हैं। और जिस सावधानी से रविंद्र जाडेजा और उनका साथ अक्षर पटेल ने दिया है, मेरे हिसाब से एक सदी हुई बैटिंग हम कहेंगे, एक सेंसिबल बैटिंग जो टेस्ट क्रिकेट में करनी चाहिए, वो इन दोनों बैट्समैन ने की है। कल सवेरे नया दिन होगा तो टीम इंडिया यही चाहेगी कि चौथी इनिंग में इनको टीम को बल्लेबाजी नहीं करनी है, इंडियन टीम को बल्लेबाजी नहीं करनी है। तो एक टीम मैनेजमेंट से मैसेज यही आएगा कि सवेरे के सेशन में आप जितने यहाँ पर 100 रन अगर टीम और बना देती है तो 250 के करीब अगर टारगेट ऑस्ट्रेलिया को मतलब
Amit, I'll stop you. Take a quick question with Shubhan. Shubhan, I know you've got to go for your interviews. I know you've got to so enjoy the opening.
A big New Zealand player is calling me. Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Amit,
100%.
Yeah. Amit, carry on.
जी देखिए, मेरा कहना ये था कि अगर आप 250 रन का अगर लीड ले लेते हो तो फिर भारतीय स्पिनर्स के पास यहाँ पर तीसरी पारी में क्योंकि विकेट और खराब होगा। हम देख रहे हैं कि पहले दिन से विकेट पर जो रफ मार्क है, जिसका फायदा दोनों ही टीम के बॉलर्स को हो रहा है। तो मेरे हिसाब से यहाँ पर टीम इंडिया यहाँ नहीं चाहेगी कि चौथी पारी में वो बल्लेबाजी करे, और इस वजह से जो है वो एक मेरा टारगेट यहाँ पर 400 450 रन जो है ये दोनों बल्लेबाज से आने जरूरी है, ऐसा मुझे लग रहा है, क्योंकि दोनों अच्छे तरीके से बॉल पर निगाहें दोनों की जमी हुई है।
Okay, Mama, Devashish Sen, if you see the Indian performances over the last couple of years, number 6, 7, 8, 9 have made fantastic contributions. Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar, Ravindra Jadeja, Australia. Think about it. Bangladesh, Ravichandran Ashwin, Kuldeep Yadav. Now, again, Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, and the later order. Do you think that is what is making Team India the force that it is, the middle and lower middle order?
Absolutely. 2 years back, the Indians used to have a bigger tail, but now the tail, there is hardly any tails for that matter, because each and every cricketer, as you have just mentioned, everyone has got a decent run. Take the instance of Ravichandran Ashwin. He has 5 test hundreds under his belt. Ravindra Jadeja, he has scored a test 100. Shardul Thakur, although he is not part of the side. Akshar Patel, time and again he has proven that he is too, and that 71 unbeaten partnership between him and Jadeja, as Atroda said at the beginning, has just sealed the dominance in this test match for India, because I think the biggest positive for this test match has to be Ravindra Jadeja. The way he made a comeback into the team, it's not easy for a player when you are 5 months out of cricket and then to make a comeback and then to take a five for and in the first innings and then followed it up by a 50. And he happens. This is and can you believe it? He has scored 5 innings. He has taken 5 wickets and 80 and scored a 50 in 5 times. This has happened for Ravindra Jadeja. That speaks out volume. I think he is one of the best, is one of the finest all-rounders at the moment in Test cricket or across the formats.
Joydipta, Ashwin and Jadeja as a pair, one of the best ever. In fact, their record at the moment is better than Bishan Bedi and Prasanna. We discussed this yesterday. According to you, the impact the two have had together. Before I go to Atra.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are also playing on slightly more spin-friendly wickets than probably Prasanna and Bedi did back in the day. We get a lot more wickets, which helps spin. I think what really separates Jadeja from the others is the fact that he can even bowl slightly quickish and turn the ball, which doesn't happen with the other spinners. We saw Akshar bowling quickly, the ball didn't turn, was just coming through with the arm. And that's somewhere where Murphy and Lyon both struggled, because every time they tossed it up against Jadeja and Akshar, they came down the wicket. What happens is, as a batter, when you step out to bowlers, then you get the short ball. Because as a bowler, I'm constantly in my mind thinking that you are stepping out. So I alter my length, and then I get the cuts and the pulls. Today, these two spinners bowling to the other batters, including Rohit, and to bowl to these left-handers were different bowlers. That's what these two batters did by stepping out and playing them. The moment you step out, they keep getting cut after them. There were 5 or 6 balls that they got cut. They bowled really well to the right-handers, did not bowl well to the left-handers. Even Rohit, as good an innings it was, he had to give him time. As a skipper, he knew that he had to be there. Wickets were falling around him. There were some newcomers playing, debutants playing. So he played his own sedate knock, saw India through. It was an unbelievable knock. But what made a difference was the way the two left-handed batters batted against the spinners.
Atreo, you watched the knock from the stands in Jamtha, one of the best knocks from Rohit Sharma, especially as a leader, because clearly in and around, as Joydeep Das said, wickets falling, pressure on him to deliver, Australia still in the game. Over to you, Atreo. Talk to us about Rohit's innings.
I think it was arguably or inarguably his most valuable test century. He has scored more attractive runs in the past, but today the situation was different. The demand of the situation was different. His role in the team has changed. I mean, we have to also acknowledge that. Expectations of him have changed, have increased manifold. And when we take into account that the importance of the series, the quality of the opposition, and the nature of the pitch, and the way the other batters batted around him in this test match, or how the other batters of the other team fared in this match, what Rohit has done is quite phenomenal. I mean, this is not a natural game. But he eschewed his instincts. He curbed his urges to be flamboyant and played according to the need of the hour. If that meant you be ugly, he became ugly. Although it's difficult for him to be very ugly, I mean, even at his worst. But I think that the value of this innings is immense. And also, he got off to a very, very quick start. After that, things changed. He changed his game according to the situation. I mean, there were those lovely on drives to the offside, but also a number of times he just did not play the ball. Or when the spinners were bowling round the wicket with six fielders on onside, he didn't pad the ball. He played them with soft hands and kept things simple. And that is, I think, the highlight of this inning.
So Devashish, Atreo says one of Rohit's best test innings, best hundreds. Your thoughts? You wanted to say something? You put
Yeah,
your hand up
absolutely.
before I go to
It was unlike Rohit Sharma innings today, I would say, because he played 131 dot balls in his innings. Out of 212 balls, 131 were dot balls, and he never played a lofted shot until the time the stroke with which he got 100 of Todd Murphy inside out over the covers for a boundary, and his strength has been pull shot. He only played 2 pull shot in throughout his innings. One, the Scott Boland one that went for a 6 towards square leg. So that is it's something that resembles Sachin Tendulkar, that knock he played in Australia. So he just made it a conscious effort to check his favorite shot, that is the pull shot. So that sets him apart. And also, ever since he started opening for India, since 2019, October 2019, he has now scored 400s for India as an opener. So that speaks volumes. And also, the need of the hour was the captain leading from the front. High profile series against Australia, you want your captain to lead from the front, and that is what he has done for this team. And from here on, India will only go from strength to strength because the captain has led from the front. Captain has gave them the innings much like the one that Saurav Ganguly played in Brisbane. That so I think this sets the team. This will make the team more motivated with the captain leading from the front.
Okay. अमित ये बता, आपको क्या ये लगता है कि देखो हम लोग रोहित को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, जाडेजा अक्सर को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, बट अगर हम टॉप ऑर्डर परफॉर्मेंसेस देखें एज एन एग्रीगेट, हमारा टॉप ऑर्डर इन द लास्ट 2 years एज अ टीम दे हैवंट डन वेल. अगर मैं बांग्लादेश में भी देखूं 2, 3, 4 they haven't done well. So and again the middle order and the lower middle order have contributed. As a result, उनका जो खामियां है वो सामने नहीं आ रहा है. आपका विचार इस बारे में?
देखिए बुरेदा, मैं आपने बांग्लादेश सीरीज की बात करी, मैं यहाँ पर वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप से जाना चाहूंगा. मैं थोड़ा और दूर लेके जाना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से आप देखिए कि हम बात करते हैं चेतेश्वर पुजारा की, लेकिन हम क्यों नहीं बात करते विराट कोहली की. विराट कोहली ने देश में और विदेश में उनकी माइनर खामियां हैं. आज भी जैसे आउट हुए, मतलब मेरे हिसाब से विराट कोहली जैसे बड़े प्लेयर भारतीय विकेट पर अच्छे बैटिंग कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जॉयदा इस बात से एग्री होंगे मेरे से कि भारतीय सरजमी पर भारतीय मतलब बैट्समैन स्पिनर्स को खेलने में उनको दिक्कत हो रही है, क्योंकि वर्ल्ड वाइड में अगर हम पिछले 2 साल से देखें, स्पिनर्स को हम नहीं खेल पा रहे हैं, जबकि डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट से जो भी प्लेयर खेल के आ रहा है वो स्पिनर्स को अच्छी तरीके से खेल रहा है. ये शायद मेरा मानना है. और आज मैंने देखा कि संजय वांगर और रवि शास्त्री भी यही कह रहे थे, हालांकि रवि शास्त्री थोड़े बचते हुए दिखाई दिए, लेकिन संजय वांगर यही कह रहे थे कि स्पिनर्स को खेलने में जो है वो भारतीय बल्लेबाजों को दिक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ रहा है. मेरे हिसाब से ये है, यही एक मेरे हिसाब से टॉप ऑर्डर का वो है. और अगर आप देखें बुरियादा, पहले दिन से ये जो गेंद है ना, ये घुटने के ऊपर नहीं आ रहा है, तो वहां पर जो है अगर आप सही ढंग से स्टांस नहीं लेंगे तो आउट होने का चांसेस आपका होगा. और उसी चक्कर में शिखर भरत आउट हो गए. शिखर भरत ने जो गार्ड सही ढंग से नहीं लिया, और वो दीप दासगुप्ता यही बात कर रहे थे, अगर ये थोड़ा गार्ड ढंग से लेते, थोड़े बाहर खड़े रहेंगे तो शायद जो है वो लेग बिफोर ना हो, और उसके 2-3 गेंद के बाद ही जो है वो लेग बिफोर करार दिए गए. मेरे हिसाब से
जयदीप के पास जाना चाहूंगा इसी बारे में. जयदीप, Amit is making the point about our inability to play spin. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, he's spot on. I'll tell you what's happened. You know, in domestic cricket, which I see from very close, I don't see a lot of spinners doing a lot of bowling. In the top 20, there are about 17, 18 fast bowlers. Yes, there's the odd Shahbaz Nadeem, the Jalad Saxena. But I've been watching a game every week in Ranji Trophy, and I haven't seen a spinner bowl 20 overs in one day. So, and even when they bowl, it's always the batting spinner, like a Shahbaz or somebody who can bat who's bowling. So when I grew up playing Utpal Chatterjee on a slightly turner on a wicket that they're playing in Nagpur. I grew up playing a Kanwaljit Singh or a Shivlal Yadav or a Arshad Ayub or a Venkatpati Raju or a Maninder Singh on these sort of turners. So my preparation to go and play these sort of bowlers on these sort of tracks was much better. Now, the Ranji Trophy is mainly played on green wickets. It's all about fast bowlers taking wickets, 6 points per game, 4 mm grass, 6 mm grass. So now suddenly, if you see the newer lot of batters can play spinners on good wickets. But today was a wicket where you have to struggle for your runs. That's what Rohit did. It's not there in the offering for you. It wasn't a buffet. You would have to go and actually order an a la carte. You have to work your way around, prod your way around strategies, what to play to who, what field, inside out, tap here, tap there. So I think that finishing school for the batters in domestic cricket is not happening so much because spinners are not bowling. And even when they're bowling on greenish wickets with grass on it. Once you play on a little bare wicket with a little bit of puff, then you will actually learn that. So I think that's not happening. It's a great point.
Athreyo, I'll ask you a slightly critical question. I mean, Amit made this point about, he said, हम चेतेश्वर पुजारा के बारे में बात करते हैं, विराट कोहली के बारे में नहीं. So if you actually go and check the statistics of Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane and Virat Kohli in the last 3 years, Virat Kohli hasn't done anything better than these two. His white ball performances, that too most recently, have masked his test match failures. Is it that we don't talk about Virat Kohli because of the aura of Virat Kohli? But when you come to the numbers, his numbers are not any better. Are you concerned about Virat Kohli and his problems against spin? Or do you think, no, we don't need to be concerned, he's just too good a player, will soon come good? Atreo.
I do not have a direct answer for this, but I do agree with you that his numbers are probably worse than Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane in the last 3 years. I have checked the numbers myself, and I'm quite sure about that. Well, as far as I think you have a point. Amit makes a fair point that are we being choosy about who to criticize and who to not? I think to an extent we are. Today, the way he got out was it was a soft dismissal. I mean, you don't expect your premier batsman to get out in that manner. And actually, all three are our middle order batsmen, Pujara, Kohli, and Surya Kumar, all three are very soft dismissals. But coming back to your question, yes, Virat Kohli's question has been a bit of a concern. I mean, over his form and the way he got out, that remains a bit of a concern. I think more than his white ball exploits, his red ball record is seeing him through. We are all expecting for that, like we were discussing yesterday, that one good knock. And yes, it has not come. And if this keeps happening, if this becomes the trend, then a time will come when people will have to take a more sterner, will have to take a sterner look at it and make some realistic decisions, because there are people in the pipeline.
Mama, very strong words from both Amit and Atreo. Agree, disagree before I ask Joydeep the same question. These are important questions that are being asked.
I have a different view altogether, because look at our performances overseas. We won a test series against Australia. We won a test match in South Africa. We won a test match in England. And who helped us in winning those test matches? It's our fast bowlers. So when you talk about a bigger picture, the World Test Championship, where all our great wins have come overseas.
We are talking about the batsmen. We are talking about the batsmen, Mama.
Yeah. Batters, I'm talking.
We are talking specifically about Virat. So your thoughts on Virat?
I think as Atreo said, and we have discussed yesterday as well, he's one innings away from. Obviously, people might argue that his last century came in 2019 in that pink ball test at Eden Gardens. Yeah, it's a long time. But then he's too good a batsman to get going. He's just one knock away, I believe.
Okay. Joydeep?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with Mama, because I feel you forget about what happened in the last 3 years, but if you take the career of a Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli is in a different league. And that's why you get the extra rope. So if you see Virat Kohli, even now, he averages 48.9 after not having scored 100 in 3 years. If you look at the others, they have dropped considerably. So if you look at all three of the careers 3 years back, when the slump started, for lack of a better word, Virat Kohli was in a different league. And he will always go with players who can change you games. Because Virat Kohli is a player, this guy, when he plays, he will win a game on his own. And that is where he will have a head start on the Pujara or Ajinkya Rahane. Ajinkya Rahane and Pujara will grind you to dust and get the run. Virat Kohli, with his class and his ability, special ability, will go and do things. And in a way, it's right. Also, it's the white ball that gives you the hope that it will also happen in the red ball, which is something that Pujara and Rahane don't have. They don't have that novelty to go and show what they do in white ball cricket. Today, Surya Kumar Yadav is in the test match team because of what he's done in white ball cricket. That's the reason he's there. He hasn't done anything remarkable in the last 2 years in Ranji Trophy. It's not that he's at 1,000, 1,200 run years. So that is a reason why your white ball performance really matters. But to sum it up, I'll always go with a player who's a game-changing player. Players like Virat, players like Sachin, players like you don't always go by numbers.
Okay. Last few minutes on the show, so we'll take concluding remarks from everybody. But before that, a couple of important news points. We've seen Rishabh Pant start to walk with crutches today. So that's something that all of us are happy about, that Rishabh Pant back on his feet. We would want him back on the park as soon as possible. Still some distance away, but he's taking baby steps to making a comeback. So that's very, very important. Number 2, as Shubhan Chakravarti reported, fingers crossed Smriti Mandhana plays that game against Pakistan on Sunday and Harmanpreet Kaur takes center stage, because the reason why the IPL became the IPL is why India won that World T20 6 months back in 2007, in September, October. That match against Pakistan set up the IPL. If the Indian women's team does the same at the back of the under-19 triumph, we will see a WPL of a very different nature. But if India does not do well, if India does not do well in the World T20, then there will be a bit of a dampener. So you would want a Mandhana, you would want a Harmanpreet to fire. The auction on 13th, Joydipda, myself, Amit, Devashish, Atreo, all of us will be there along with Shubhan Chakravarti from South Africa on the auction as well. Concluding remarks to Atreo, you first. Is there a comeback for Australia, or is it a mountain too far?
They have to play out of their skins, no doubt about that. I mean, 150 or lead of 150 already, and the demons of the first innings being heavy on their mind, the Indian spinners knowing where exactly to attack, and they will go at them straight away. So it's going to be a very difficult task. In cricket, you do not rule out any possibility. 3 more days remaining. On paper, they have the ability, more than that, to make a match of this, but it's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, they have to play really, I mean, as you said, I mean, it's a mountain to climb.
अमित, रोहित शर्मा के लिए ये 100 बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. उनका कैप्टनसी करियर में अगर हम देखें, राहुल द्रविड़ और रोहित शर्मा ने वर्ल्ड कप नहीं जीता. सो थिंकिंग फ्रॉम दैट स्टैंड पॉइंट, इंग्लैंड में वो नहीं खेल पाए थे दैट वन ऑफ टेस्ट मैच, उनके लिए ये जीत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगा. अमित
जी देखिए, जब आप बड़ी टीम के सामने खेलते हैं, नंबर 1 टीम के सामने, चाहे आप अपने घर में खेल रहे हो या बाहर खेल रहे हो, प्रेशर जरूर होता है बतौर कप्तान. और जैसे कल भी मैंने बात करी कि बतौर कप्तान और आपके जब रन ना बन रहे हो ना, तो ये प्रेशर बहुत है. आज की रोहित की पारी जो है ना, उनके करियर की बेस्ट पारी होगी. हमको एंड ऑफ द टेस्ट मैच उनके मुंह से ये बात सुननी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि हम याद करते हैं नेपियर की पारी जो गौतम गंभीर ने वीवीएस लक्ष्मण के साथ मिलकर खेली थी. गंभीर की बहुत ही अच्छी पारियां रही हैं, लेकिन गंभीर हमेशा उस पारी का जिक्र करते हैं. मेरे हिसाब से आज एक स्टेबिलिटी वाली पारी जो रोहित शर्मा, शांत और धैर्य वाले रोहित शर्मा, उसकी ये जो पारी है. और जैसे हमने एक बात का जिक्र किया कि 2 पुल शॉट केवल रोहित ने मारे, और वो भी जब वो कॉन्फिडेंट थे तो ही उन्होंने मारे. उन्होंने हवा में ऐसे शॉट्स नहीं खेल दिए, गैर जिम्मेदाराना शॉट नहीं खेले. तो मेरे हिसाब से रोहित की एक सूझबूझ भरी कप्तानी पारी है, और ये पारी मेरे हिसाब से एक बहुत ही अच्छी, आने वाले 3 टेस्ट मैच हैं, उसके बाद जो है वो वनडे सीरीज भी है. मेरे हिसाब से बतौर कप्तान आत्मविश्वास जो है वो रोहित शर्मा के अंदर आएगी. और जहां तक मैं बात करूं ऑस्ट्रेलिया की इस मैच की चांसेस का, जो आपने अतिरुद्धा को सवाल पूछा, वहां से मैं ले जाना चाहूंगा. अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया को ये मैच में कहीं ना कहीं वापसी करनी है, कमबैक करना है, तो उनके ओपनर्स की तरफ से 60 और 70 रन की ओपनिंग पार्टनरशिप होना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर ये नहीं हुई, अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हमारे तेज गेंदबाजों ने शुरुआती ओवर में अगर सिराज और शमी ने आउट कर दिया, तो मेरे हिसाब से फिर वही ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम जो है वो खत्म है. अभी भी मैं कल की लाइन दोहराना चाहूंगा, अगर चैन से सोना है तो जाग जाओ.
ओके, देवाशीष, तुम्हारे पास द सवाल, द क्वेश्चन दैट आई हैव फॉर यू इज, are you disappointed with what you've seen from Australia? Because there was a build up. This is the best possible chance. All of the Australian experts, Greg Chappell on our show, talking it up that no Pant, no Bumrah, India underdone. This is Australia's best chance. Are you disappointed?
Yeah, absolutely, I'm disappointed, but then let's not count it out, because it's a big series. It's just one innings, and let's see if they can get some inspiration from one likes of Warner or a Khawaja. So they would need, as I was telling you yesterday as well, Buryada, they need some inspiration from someone. They need to build a partnership. Means two good partnerships, last as we have seen in today's innings, India innings. The partnership between Akshar and Jadeja, then the partnership between Jadeja and Rohit. Means that's what helps the team post big totals. And you need an inspiration from a David Warner. Means this is his opportunity. Because he is having a lot of backlashes, if I'm not wrong, from the Australian media, because they would love to see someone else getting in, because Travis Head was dropped It was a bombshell from the Australian selectors. So this is a perfect opportunity because they haven't won a series in India. Someone like a Steve Smith, someone like a David Warner. So you need some inspiration from these guys. You score big, you help. Obviously, it is tough. It is a mountain to climb, but you never know in cricket. Buriada.
Okay. Jaideep, there are two questions. You've commentated for the domestic women's T20. You've commentated for the India-Australia series. So your thoughts on the Indian women's team in South Africa? Do they have it in them to make a real splash for that trophy? Number one. Number two, is it too difficult now for Australia? And if they lose this one, mentally, how tough will it be for them to make a comeback? Last words.
Yeah. So I'll go with the first one. I really feel that this Indian team has what it takes. I want Smriti Mandhana, Harmanpreet Kaur. I want them to play a brand of cricket where, you play aggressively. You might lose a game here and there, but you'll win most. And what I saw in the India-Australia series is that even in the game that Australia lost in the Super Over, they played aggressively. Their mantra is that if there are 10 games and we play aggressively, we might lose 2, but we'll win 8. I don't see, problem I find with the Indian batting is I can't find Jemima, Harleen Deol, and Devika playing in the 11 together. I think there's only place for one of them to bat at 3. Because in that series, we saw Devika batting at 6, Jemima batting at 3, and that was keeping Deepti and Richa away for too long. You need your bat. If this is not a 50-over game, this is a 20-20 game. In a 20-20 game, you want your batters to bat up front, and you can only go with one person who bats around everybody. Everybody else has got to be those players who get on with it. With the second question, when I see this Australian batting, I was a little disappointed with the way the Aussie batters batted against our fast bowlers. I think Warner, it's also the bounce that's getting to them. They play on Aussie wickets where there's a lot of bounce. Here, the bounce is keeping low. And when you're quick, like a Shami or a Siraj, and the bounce is low, it skids onto you. We saw Akashdeep do that to the MP batters today. Rajat Patidar out bowled second ball. So similarly, Warner and Khawaja. See, if I look at the batting, look at Khawaja, Labuschagne, Renshaw, Hanscom, Alex Carey. How are they going to play these spinners? It's not about the team. You can hype it up as much as you want. Playing these 3 spinners on these wickets, it's not possible for these batters. You need to be on your second, third Indian tour to be able to do it. Ponting and back in the day, the Gilchrist and Waugh and Martin, they were on the third tour and still they struggle. And we're expecting a Labuschagne or a Renshaw or a Hanscom to get the job done. I don't think Australia can come back in this game.
Strong words to end there, Joydeep Mukherjee. I'll finish the show there. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, almost on the verge of an Indian win and anticipating an India-Pakistan clash on Sunday in South Africa. Coverage of equal nature as far as we are concerned on Rev Sports for men and women. That has been our mantra, and not simply cricket. Every sport will be covered with equal passion. Thank you very much, Joydeep Mukherjee, Debashish Sen, Amit Shah,
Pleasure.
and of course, Atreya Mukhopadhyay. You will see Atreya's reports tomorrow morning once again from Jamtha. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks. Bye.